And we welcome you into another edition of the Mountaineer Puck Drop Preview here on the Mountaineer Hockey Network. Pleasant hello, I'm Camden Bilotti, and happy 2025 to our Division Three head coach, Rue. Rue, how we doing today?
I am wonderful, Cam. Glad to be back working with you again and enjoyed the break, but happy to be back at it.
Yeah, for sure. I assume you had a nice break.
Yeah, it was good. I think that between you guys, us coaches, the players, I think everybody, we love being at the rink, but I think it's everybody's, enjoys getting a chance to step back and recharge a little bit. And we had an extra practice this week, so I had some guys Sunday night for a little extra, knock the rust off, skate, and then we're back to our normal practice schedule this week and ready to get back at it. So we're excited.
Well, that's great. Well, we had our original one thrown up in the dust, so this is a little bit of a makeup for everybody at home. So we have three seniors on the docket. Talk about what each of them mean to you. Let's start off right there.
So I've had Danny Rao the last year and this year. I have had Luke Cassiola the last 2 years and this year. He's actually graduating early, so he's a senior this year, but only in his third year. Little overachiever. He's been, a guy that I'm super close with as well. And then we also have Peyton Donica, who is absolutely the lifeblood of not just our program. I mean, not just our team, but our program. He is a guy that loves the boys more than anything in the world, would do anything for the organization, any of the teams. Just a real unsung hero kind of guy. And Danny Rao is a really solid talent as well. Good guy, leader in our room, and he has definitely inserted himself as a big piece for us as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, this is a really small senior class compared to last year. I remember that one took a while. Um, but what is it like? I mean, a lot of returning players next year. What is that like for growth within this team?
So, we've had some turnover in the last couple of years, and this really, I think, was a year that we needed to kind of get over the hump with some things. One thing that we've talked about with our leadership is, um, you know, and this is no disrespect to any of the guys that aren't with us, but everybody comes here with a different priority list and things like that. And when you're building a team from the ground up, it's not always easy because everybody comes with a little bit of a different level of buy-in and things like that. I think what we've finally gotten here is we've got a really solid leadership group that is setting a standard and communicating that to a younger group. And we've got the last 2 years we've brought in two classes of underclassmen that really understand what we're looking for and are really committed to the guys in the last couple of years have set a standard, and now all of a sudden we've got a group come the last two freshman classes that have really come in and adopted that standard. And I think the culture's really gotten over the hump, and we're really excited about that. And so to have a small class this year, don't get me wrong, those are some big names to be departing here, but um, I think that we're in a really good position to keep this group from a work ethic, from a culture perspective. I think we're really getting to where we've wanted to be for the last several years.
Yeah, and as we kind of look at maybe the rest of this year, or I guess last year, however way you want to look at it,
Yeah.
um, what has this year been look like for you? I mean, we've a lot of success has come out of D3 this season. I mean, you compare it to last year, maybe not one of the bright spots. Maybe, something tough to sleep with some nights. But look at this year. I mean, the complete 180.
100%. I think, like I said, we've got the culture where we want it. We've got a leadership group here that is really, set a good example. And I think one thing that we've got going on this year that we've been striving for the last several years is a group that is willing to hold each other accountable. It's really easy to tune out coaches when you're only ever hearing, accountability and criticism from the coaching staff. There needs to be an ability in the room for those guys to look across the room and call out a guy that they love and respect, but to say, hey man, you're not holding up your end. And I think we're finally there. And I can't say enough about the leadership on this team. And it's not just guys that wear a letter, it's guys that have been here. Will McNamara wears our C, and we haven't named any specific A's. And part of the reason why I did that was because we really have a group that kind of does it by committee. And so, I love that those guys are holding each other to a standard now. So that's a big step. And some of the guys that moved on, they moved on, and it's respect to those guys to what they did for this organization. But I think there's some growing pains when you're building from the ground up. And like I said, you got to kind of push through some of those ups and downs. And obviously, last year was a bit of a down, really tough year. And you and I've talked about that on this program a few times. But I think we've really found a good spot. And so I think that culture is really feeding itself. And I think the work ethic's a big thing too. I think that top to bottom of the roster in practice. I mean, there's some guys that have not gotten their flowers as far as maybe recognition or even the games played that we would like because we've got such a competitive group. But Rieni, Peyton Donica, Zach Spiewak, some of those guys are pushing the pace to such a crazy extent. Evan Kennelly and Ashton Glover are the same way. Those guys are making it so that every week in practice we're getting better. So I think that long answer to a short question, but I really think all of those things are really major factors as to the success we've had, and we're certainly not done.
No, no, yeah, for sure. Let's look a little bit ahead now. Two big games on the docket. One of them maybe you can consider maybe an exhibition game, but we'll start with the one that really matters. You know what, before we get there, have you been watching the standings every day? Do you look at
So
it
we were
before
keeping
bed?
we were keeping a pretty good eye on it going into the break, and I know that we talked about that matchup going into it, and we didn't really get to talk too much about it coming out of that. But that Cal win before the break was such a huge win for our group. Not only there's a lot of ties between the organizations at Cal. There's a couple guys that either are playing or have in the last several years playing at Cal that I coached in my high school coaching career. Um, Coach Brown and Coach Kutek both played there, so we're pretty close with the that organization. And it's a real nice friendly rivalry that we've got going on, and it goes back and forth. But Cal is such a respected organization. Then we always have that one circled, and it's usually pretty fun games back and forth. But that win was big. I think the timing was huge. I think that one, that was Cal's first regulation loss of the year, which was pretty huge for our group just to put it all together. I think that was the first time we put together 60 minutes of the hockey that we want to play. And one thing I told those guys going into that Cal game was whatever we do, we're all going to have to sit on for a month and a half over break here.
I remember you
So
saying that.
yeah, absolutely. So it was nice to be able to get that win. It was a statement win. It was, something we could be proud of, and something we could sleep on pretty well over the break. So that put us in a playoff spot over the break. We've had some teams that have played coming out of the break already that maybe school came back earlier and they scheduled. But the nice thing was that as far as conference play goes, everything's been kind of set since we won that Cal game. So I have peeked at it once or twice, but I knew it wasn't changing here until I think the conference play this weekend will get right back at it. But yeah,
I
we're
knew
happy
you
with
were
where we're at.
peeking. I
We're
knew you were
peaking. Yeah,
peeking.
I'm peaking.
I
And
knew
like I
it.
said, it was a good win for us to sit on. I'm sure Cal's going to be looking to get a bite back in the two games we have left against them. But we're trying to hit the ground running. We're really happy with the first semester's work and just continuing to build.
Yeah, well, Case Western is your first challenge coming out of break. As we alluded, it's senior night. Case Western, I'm pretty sure you played him once already this year. So I'm getting the nod of the yes, good. I
Yep.
got that down. Um, what do you look to rebound from that game that you played already against them to now this game? And you talk about trying to knock off the rust. Really not a lot of ways to knock off the rust until you get back into, actual game mode. So Floor is yours.
Absolutely. So Case is a team that has, we played them to start the season. It was 4-0 win at Case Western. Those guys always have a little bit of an edge at home because they play on Olympic ice. So it seems like our team has a little bit of an adjustment period to get used to playing on that big ice. But we played well. Not the best game that we had, obviously, starting the year. But we don't overlook those guys whatsoever. They have, in the few years we've been in the conference, those guys have had at least one upset win. We know that, just like you and I have talked about here on the show, is with our conference play, if you're not bringing it, you could get smacked around any day of the week, which is a really fun part of playing in this conference. So that one we're looking forward to. It's one that if we handle our business, we feel pretty confident. But the key piece is if we're handling our business, and we've got to get right back to playing our game and get right back to all the good habits we built second half of last semester.
Yeah. And, so pretty big game on the docket, you would say?
Yeah, Saturdays, or are you talking
Saturdays.
Monday?
We'll
Saturdays, of
get the
course.
Monday
Yeah,
in a
I mean,
minute.
we'll get to Monday in a sec. So Saturdays, absolutely. Like I said, I talked to the boys this morning, and I said, we did a lot last semester, but one thing that we have talked about all year is making sure that we're punching our ticket to, be successful, to, earn a playoff spot, to do those things, and it starts fresh every day. So I think we really leaned into that towards the end of last semester. And so same thing here. I mean, we're happy with the work that we did. We put ourselves in a position to, continue to be successful in the second half, and hopefully work our way up, and find ourselves in a little more attractive, playoff spot. But it's new every day. We got to punch our ticket once again. And so Saturday's first step in the second half.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it now. I know you've been waiting to talk about it. Big, 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 big Monday coming up. I believe we're still invited to go with you guys
Absolutely.
up to Pennsylvania. It is your outdoor game. Is in kind of what you'd like to say an exhibition game based off what you told me about how you already played twice, so this game really doesn't count for any conference points. But I mean, this is an excellent opportunity for you right here. Outdoors, can't you won't beat the Columbus outdoor game, not to be biased. Um, but what a big game coming up for you guys.
So it'll be exciting. We played outdoor. So for those in the Pittsburgh-ish area, South Park has an outdoor rink. It's a little, kind of in between Morgantown and just south of Pittsburgh. And so we're excited. We played there 2 years ago. Cal invited us up. Really had a blast. I mean, the weather was nice. It was a night game, and the facility's nice. Right now, knock on wood, we're counting on some pretty decent weather. You want it to be cold. I mean, it's will be freezing, but better ice conditions that way than getting stuck in the rain or something like that. So we're looking forward to it. It was a blast last time. 2 years ago, we beat Cal, which is once again those guys are going to be wanting a little rematch action there between that win and the one that we had the other day. So we're excited. It'll be a blast. The guys are really jazzed up about it, and so we're psyched. It'll be a good time.
Does this mean no Monday practice for him?
We don't usually practice Monday. We practice Tuesday morning, but the game's
Oh,
at 1 in the afternoon on Monday, so I'm gonna make them practice Tuesday morning.
oh, gonna make him go in at early on Tuesday. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is going to wrap it up for this edition of the Puck Drive Preview here on the Mountaineer Hockey Network. We thank Coach Rue for joining us, and we'll see you next week as we'll sit down with Adam Brown to discuss D2's latest success. All right, goodbye,
Thank you so much, Cam. Always a pleasure, man.
sir. Thanks to you.